Welcome to the Create Clarity with Charity podcast, where hybrid business coach and consultant Charity Brown shares her bold and daring business tips that will transform your business into the best that it can be. Here's your host, Charity Brown.
Hello and welcome to Clarity with Charity podcast. I have an amazing guest, Gregory, here today from the ADMANITY Protocol group. And boy, does he have an amazing software and manual for marketers to scale their business and really tap into the subconscious mind. Hi, Brian. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Charity. It's great to be here. I'm very excited to be on your show because I know you get this stuff and it's going to be fun.
It is, and it is one of the most exciting tools that I have in my arsenal. And I know that all the entrepreneurs out there really need this in their toolbox as well. So first, I want to let everyone know who you are, what you do, and why you are the authority in the marketplace when it comes to this type of marketing. And I think that we've been friends and done business for almost a year now, and we teamed up, and I feel like I know you really well. Not only are you an amazing speaker and just, an innovator, but you also have 20, maybe 30 years of experience helping entrepreneurs. So go ahead and tell our audience about yourself so they can get to know you too.
Well, first of all, to be an entrepreneur, you have to be slightly insane. It does help a lot. And anybody who's ever tried to start their own business will probably agree with me on that. And but that's a good thing because you channel different parts of your brain to be creative, to beat the odds, and to be that person who's willing to take those risks. And I've always been attracted to the long shot or the against all odds proposition of the business that's never really been done before. I could never open a hot dog cart because somebody else already has one. So I enjoy helping people, especially the ones who are trying to blaze their own trail. And sooner or later, even if you own a hot dog cart, if you want to have 100 hot dog carts, you're going to have to blaze your own trail. You're going to have to do something different. So sooner or later, you're going to have to be innovative. And I'm so into what we're going to talk about today to help people because there's 30 million small businesses in the United States right now. And only about 1% of them will have the luxury of being able to afford a professional agency to come to their assistance when it comes to creating their message and their look and their brand and their ads and all that stuff. So 99% of us have to wing it. And that's kind of a lot of people who have never been specially trained to do it. And so a lot of people wing it and mess up and they lose money. And as an entrepreneur, you hate it when you lose money because you never have enough of that. Yeah. And so it's one of the reasons we founded ADMANITY was to help people to show them, here are the right ways to go. And here are some of the landmines you probably should avoid.
Yes. And that is so important because there is so many opportunities out there to run into stumbling blocks when it comes to hiring professionals, right? Because everyone out there has a service. Everyone out there is trying to capitalize on the entrepreneur because we all need all these very strategic tools to scale and make it in business. So sometimes we all come with this desperation thinking, oh my God, I need this new marketing tool because it's going to start bringing me all those leads that I need and all that money, right? And so we invest $5,000, $10,000 and then a lot of times it's like a bag of rocks at the end of the day. And you're like, where's my clients? I've had several experiences like that, but not with you for sure.
We have more tools today. Yeah, it's frustrating because not only do you have to beat just the general rules of entrepreneurial, the journey of doing that, just beating the other guys, but now there's 10,000 different tools to use. Yeah. There's online stuff that we don't even know how to pronounce, and now they're going to bring all of the IQ, what is it? The artificial intelligence and everything else that's going to kind of come before us, and most of us are not trained to handle any of this stuff. Yet we're going to have to. So today's entrepreneur has more choices than ever, and that sounds great until you realize that's more ways to mess up than ever. Yeah. And somebody needs to, and sometimes we need to get back to basics. And so ADMANITY is sort of this high-tech company that preaches barbarism and getting back to knuckle dragging caveman level emotions that we all have. And if you can manage to learn how humans respond to everyday emotions, especially in marketing, well, now you've got an advantage over everybody else. And you don't have to invest in $100,000 in software tools to do it. And so we're trying to be high tech on one side of our company, and yet what we show people has been truthful, and it has worked for thousands of years. So it's really different what we do.
Yes, and that's the best thing about it, is that human psychology and emotions don't change no matter how many years ago that concept was developed, right? Playing on people's emotions for certain ads and really triggering thought and emotion to buy. So you've done that like really well in this protocol manual, this amazing program where really pretty much you put in your business details, and then you get this magnificent report that pretty much tells you all the keywords and all the colors and all the triggers and all the things that we all wish we knew when we were going to set up our first Facebook ad. Okay.
Yeah, it's true. I wish I had this 20 years ago when I was doing various entrepreneurial things. I was one of those people that was winging it, and I spent a lot of money on things that didn't work. And that's very frustrating. And so to be able to, essentially what we do is we hand you the owner's manual for your brand to show you in no uncertain terms, well, this is what has historically always worked. Here are the ad formulas that you will use to find success because people respond to these. And like you said, the words, the colors, the upsells, the win backs. How do you win back a customer who maybe you lost or they walked away? How do you upsell your current customers? What's the psychology of your best customer? How do you speak to them? And how do you phrase everything in such a way that it compels them to buy from you? It's not, some people think anything is an ad. And when I was in the magazine business, it frustrated me because they would turn in artwork and they'd say, well, there's my ad. And I would know instantly that it wasn't going to work. And they were very proud of it. But it's not an ad until it works. It's sort of just a pile of information on a page. And so the difference is great ads work and they continue to work. Some of the biggest brands in the world haven't changed their ads in 50 years. Why? Because it just keeps working. Why would you change it?
Right.
And so ADMANITY is based on all of the best formulas over the last 100 years. That's sort of where we did our homework to find those formulas. And now we can match them up to the type of brand that you are once you take our little online test. And that's how it works.
Yes. And it is a smooth process, ladies and gentlemen. I have done this on all my businesses and my clients. I'm like, you must have this. There is nothing else like it. Okay. If you really want the toolbox that's going to open up the gates of certainty with your marketing, this ADMANITY tool is amazing. The tactics, the strategies, the ad formulas, the keywords and phrases, the upsells, the win backs. It's just essential. And really getting into the foundation and fundamentals of marketing and really connecting with your customer is so crucial these days. And this will make it so much easier for you. So let's talk about those emotions. How do we know, that we're tapping into the right formula for the human subconscious?
That's a great question, because it's probably one of the, it's almost ethereal to most people. And the people in ad agencies who are experts at creating great ads intrinsically get it. But there's very few of those people. And as I mentioned, it's very expensive to get access to them. How does the common person, the everyday entrepreneur, get access to the same high level thought that a $1 million ad agency would use? And that's what took part of the problem of creating ADMANITY was it took us 7 years to create this. This was not done in a weekend. because we had to isolate the emotions that always work. And I think on your screen there, you've done the same thing. These are basic, and we call them primal emotions because everybody gets them at birth. And you have the same emotional toolbox of Caesar and Mozart and Shakespeare if you want to make yourself feel better. So the emotions are very simple. And the difference is you won't have a problem with any of these emotions like affinity. You know, that's happiness, and authority is trust, and approval is popularity, urgency is fear of loss, fascination is excitement, temptation is a desire, service is the want of an easier, more convenient way of life. Admiration is about the envy. I want what they have. Ambition, greed. Give me more of that. I need more for my family. Prestige is about ego. That's your own self rewarding yourself for something you've done. Like for example, you buy yourself a nice a new watch that's real expensive as a milestone of your life. Altruism is about doing the right thing. Attraction is about change and improvement, transformation. Which you're very adept at, Charity. And so, all these emotions we've identified them, and you may look at those and say, yep, those all make perfect sense. But what you don't know is how they combine together. When you combine two of them together, you create a third. And those are the formulas that we give you, because it's nice to say I'm an affinity brand, but then what do you do? What are the formulas to create affinity? I want to attract people who want happiness. I'm a happiness brand. How do I do that? Well, there are formulas, and that's why there's an algorithm. And that's why this thing took a long time and a lot of money to create, because based on how you answer a series of questions about your brand, the algorithm will match you up with the right formulas from among these 15 emotions to show you what should be in your ads, in your Facebook posts, social media, your emails, in your funnels. Use it everywhere, because that's anywhere you're trying to persuade another human being, because that's what these emotions do. And that's what ADMANITY does that nobody else does. We show you the combinations. We don't just kind of take you to the edge of the cliff and say, good luck. We take you all the way to the finish line and show you everything you're going to need. And the materials you get could last you 20, 30 years. So you don't have to keep buying new materials, because emotions don't change. So the materials don't either.
That's right. And so that's why it's the best investment ever, because the newer innovative ideas also that you're bringing to this new reporting, as well as helping people find the graphics and the different pictures and things that will help sustain whatever their formula is, will help decipher whether people click your link or not. So moving into this age of AI, the robots, think they're smarter than the humans, but with this tool, you can stay really connected and grounded with the human emotion and the real raw authenticness about what we as humans really like, not necessarily statistically what the robots think we do.
Yeah, I mean, and all credit goes to Elon Musk. I wish him well with the robot, but I'd rather teach humans how to interact better with other humans and let the robots mow my lawn. Okay, so it's all about emotion, and humanity is not living a brief moment of emotionality in a logical life. We're mostly emotional beings, and everything we do is emotionally inspired, and we feel things. And people don't buy anything until they feel like they want to buy it. You can tell me to buy it all you want. You can brag about yourself all you want. Fill me up with facts and data and rational arguments why you're number one. Until I feel something about your brand, I don't care. That's me. I'm human 1.0. And until they make human 2.0, it's not going to change. So rather than chase technology all around the room, it's always going to be 300 miles ahead of you. That's their job, to never let you quite catch up to it. Let's go back to sticks and stones. Let's go back to knuckle dragging Neanderthal days. Let's go back to the days of advertising when all they had was emotions to sell their wares. They didn't have the internet. They didn't have influencers. They didn't have social media. A lot of the biggest brands in the world were built without TV. So, you know, talk about a job. How do you build a huge monster brand all across the country and all you have is magazine ads? You know, a lot of people wouldn't even attempt that today, yet there are billion-dollar brands that did it. So emotions rule the mind, and ADMANITY shows you the rule book.
Yes, and it's such an amazing tool. I just can't get over it. I integrated it into my Happy CEO program, folks out there that know about that. So you get this amazing program with the Happy CEO program, but you can buy it also directly from ADMANITY. So we really want you guys to become part of the movement. You know, if you are a CEO, an owner, a thought leader, anyone involved in crafting a brand's message, you know, engaging with marketing, PR, social media, salespeople, you know, professionals who are trying to, you know, create precedence over marketing. It's really important for us all to harness this toolbox here. So I can't encourage it enough. And Brian, he's such an amazing guy, CEO of ADMANITY. He's been an entrepreneur for 40 years. He even started businesses, maybe 5 to 10 different businesses before he even came upon this ADMANITY Protocol idea, but creating 7 years of his professional career and put it into this amazing opportunity for us, the entrepreneur, the thought leader, the business owners, to give us the resources that these big brands like Coke, Marlboro, Pepsi, you know, the big guys. And now we have that arsenal toolbox to be able to appeal to the audience. I just love it. I can't endorse it enough, Brian. I just love what you do. And, you know, the team, your team involvement and helping other entrepreneurs out by being part of their communities and giving them a peek inside of what you've been working on has really been awesome to be part of. I'm so proud that I got in on it when I did. So,
well, thank you, Charity. That's very nice to say.
Yeah.
We are trying to help as many people as we can. Our goal as the company is to help 1 million small businesses to find their way. And, you know, we've had agencies, we have agencies as clients of ADMANITY. You know, even though they charge more, they still want answers. They still like the guidance. So we're happy to help agencies as well as people who are not agency represented. But our goal is just to help everybody figure it out, because marketing is not easy, even for people who majored in it in college and, you know, do it every day of their lives. Any good marketer will tell you that nothing's guaranteed, and you need to narrow the field of options to ensure a better successful outcome. You know, nothing's for sure, even if you've been doing this for 50 years. What we do is show you over the past 100 years, these are the things that have worked repetitively over and over again. You know, the same formula is used again, different product picks it up, uses the same formula, boom, success again and again and again. And over time, you realize, hey, wait a minute, there's a formula going on here. There's a pattern to all this. Why don't I learn some of those instead of floundering around in the dark, asking my friends and family for advice? They don't know either. Yeah. And so, yeah, we can, we're like a big flashlight when it comes to, you know, the theories and the formulas and the emotions that have always triggered humans to buy things. That's, gosh, I don't know what else is more valuable than that in marketing, because you can always go to tech. Tech is great for targeting, especially right now. Gosh, if I want to know who eats Taco Bell on Wednesday in Scottsdale, Arizona, I'm sure Facebook could tell me that. But then what do you say to that guy when you get him? He's on your screen. There he is. He's eating a Taco Bell right now. What do we say to this person now that we have this audience? And that's where it falls apart, Charity. That's where people go, I don't know. What are the words? What are the formulas? What color should it be in? What photo should I be using to hook this person into my voodoo right now? Yeah. And that's where it all falls apart. And that's where we pick up the ball.
Yes, and thank God, because the endless nights, I know so many of you out there, entrepreneurs, are trying to design your ad campaigns, are on Facebook, are looking for images, are writing copy, are trying to find the right words to get them to click the link. And, you know, how about your website? Is it really attracting? Is it screaming authority? You know, is it saying I have I have the answers, and you can do that without all the stress and struggle of trying to figure it out on your own with this tool. So do yourself a favor and check it out. And, there is this free option. Actually, Brian and I teamed up, and he gave me my own link, which is amazing. So you can go to admanity.com/nowanswergroup and plug in your name and email, and you will get a free report, and it will help explain everything. Maybe you could go into a little bit more about that, Brian.
Absolutely. We have a free report for anybody who's listening today. And by the way, the total ADMANITY Protocol, everything we've been talking about, is $397. And if you get this free report, do it, because you'll get extra bonuses that you don't normally get on our website if you go ahead and get this free report first. And the reason we do that is we want you to learn a little bit about what we're trying to do. And the free report is how emotions sell everything. And so it sort of indoctrinates you into how this has been done. You've experienced it your whole life, but now we're showing you how to drive the car instead of, be the backseat passenger to all these advertising messages. And so the free report is without obligation. And you'll also get some instructive emails, and it's fun, and you can learn from us for free, and then get your report, and you'll see how to get it. It's easy to obtain, but we want everybody to be educated. When I had my magazine, the best clients I had were not the ones who were easily bamboozled by the advertising world. They were the smartest clients who understood their marketing and understood what they wanted to do with it. They were the clients that survived and stayed in the magazine and continued to thrive. And you learn in media that the smart customer is your best customer. So what we want to do here is educate you. We want you to be a smart business person, and don't be fooled anymore, and don't be unknowledgeable anymore. It's not your fault if you're ignorant. It's only your fault if you stay that way, right? So just learn a few things about what always works, and then we have a formula called 1 + 2 = 3. And you'll see it all throughout our materials. 1 + 2 = 3. One emotion plus a second emotion equals the desired end result, which is like a credit card order, right, on your website or whatever it is you sell. Yeah. We show you the 1 + 2 = 3 formulas for your brand, so that you can just plug and play. And it's like so easy. Once you know the formulas, you'll say, wow, I didn't know it was that simple. But until somebody shows you that, you'd have a 1,000,000 to 1 chance of identifying them on your own. And so, it doesn't make sense. Hey, you want to talk about the subconscious mind a little bit and how we...
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to mention, like, not only is Brian create this amazing report, but he owned an ad company for years. Okay. He owned a magazine. He knows the struggle of the entrepreneur. So I just want you guys all to know that the foundation of this comes from a long string of marketing experience in the digital world and in the magazine business. So he's seen all the pitfalls and all the pain points of us as entrepreneurs marketing and not knowing what we're doing necessarily, and has taken those to help alleviate that pain point. But yes, the subconscious, let's talk about that. The subconscious is, like you were saying, it really pretty much makes all our life decisions. We just don't realize it.
Very true. For example, right now, Charity, you and I are having a very conscious conversation. We're very conscious of everything we're saying. We're listening, we're intent, and we're all paying attention. And the people listening are consciously listening to the show. However, the decision of, for example, whether you download that free report or not will be made by your subconscious mind. It will not be made by your conscious mind, because the conscious mind doesn't make those kinds of decisions. It's incapable of it. So the subconscious mind sort of rules the brain. It's 95% of your mental activity. And if you want a real world metaphor for what's the difference between the conscious and subconscious, let's go to Star Trek. Star Trek will teach us a lesson about the conscious and subconscious mind. Captain Kirk is the emotional captain. Now he's the captain, he makes the decisions. The emotional person makes the decisions in Star Trek. Mr. Spock is the logical mind, the conscious mind. He organizes all the thoughts, but he can't make any decisions. He's not the captain, but he can organize it for the captain. And that's how the conscious mind and the subconscious mind play nice together. They have their roles, but make no mistake, folks, when you want to sell something to the world, when you want to hear cha-ching, you will not be talking to the conscious mind, and your ad better not be filled with conscious, rational data and thought. It needs to cross over to the subconscious mind. We need to be thinking like Captain Kirk. What would Captain Kirk do? And what would Mr. Spock do? Mr. Spock would fill us with facts and tell us why it's logical, and we would fall asleep. Captain Kirk would fill us with emotion and excitement, and we'd probably buy anything he was selling. So think of those two things when you're trying to create your ads, and lean towards Kirk.
Yeah.
in this case. The subconscious mind is everything, especially when it comes to decision making. And in marketing, you want your ads to speak directly in a subconscious language. It's very, very important.
Yes. And I love that, because I've been working on tapping into my subconscious mind more and more with intuition and with other areas in life to just like clear our head and clear the way for the subconscious mind to start, working more. Because I think we can train ourselves to really get stuck in our rational mind. And I think that that's kind of a place where, corporate kind of gets us, or like traditional education, we get stuck in that rational, very in the box thinking. And then we think that that's what people want. But really how we're being steered by society and steered by our traditional education, it should be very out of the box, and then the subconscious kicks in, and our creative comes out, and then more opportunities and more, you see more, you feel more, it just seems like it's kind of on that, that higher level thought, that sometimes takes us a while to get there, because we're not conscious of it. Right? Like we don't know that is making the decisions for us. So like ignorance is bliss at sometimes, because we don't know till we know. But I can't tell you how more heightened my senses are after looking at the ADMANITY Protocol in regard to marketing and how people are targeting. So it really will open your eyes to that too, for your own use, as well as seeing, oh, they're tapping into my emotion on that. I felt that. Let's think about that. Why am I feeling like I should buy that right now? What emotion is that playing on me?
Well, if you've ever wondered why McDonald's is the #1 selling hamburger in the world, and I think most people would agree it's not the best hamburger in the world, we would expect the best products to win. Wrong. The best products don't win. The best marketed products win. McDonald's doesn't want to sell you the tastiest hamburger. They sell you the fastest hamburger, and they sell you service, convenience, and speed. They've always done that. And evidently that's more important when it comes to fast food. Makes sense. But your local restaurant in town probably serves a better cheeseburger every day of the week. So what works in advertising is not rational. And that's where people get in trouble, because we say, well, I want to just share all the things I do, and these are the things that make me good, and these are the awards I've won, and these are the things people say about us and all that. And it sounds great, and it sounds great to you because it's of interest to you, but it's not of interest to those of you who are are listening to the message. And so advertising is irrational. It is illogical. Do you ever wonder how some brands just go to the stratosphere, and other brands with the exact same product pretty much die a miserable, lonely death? Mm-hmm. And it's not because the product was bad, or they didn't work hard, or they had lousy employees, or the government was against them, or all these excuses we give for why a business fails. It's not because of that. It's because they failed to craft a message heard above the noise. The noise is sort of like where everyone else is. and it's so loud you can't be heard as a brand. If you're in that noise, you have to rise above it and be different. You have to an emotional message ejects you from the noise and puts you right above. So if you wonder why Marlboro is the #1 selling cigarette in the world, when ostensibly most of the cigarettes are almost the same, and back in 1950 when they created it, it was the worst selling cigarette in America for 30 years. They changed the ad and they changed their destiny. You can look at some of the biggest brands in the world. Look at Volkswagen. Great example here. This is a car that came over to America after World War II as a spoil of war. They offered the factory to Ford and GM and anybody who would take it. They said, no, it's an ugly little 25 horsepower car. Why would we want to make that? I don't know, because it turned into the #1 best-selling import in US history, then the best-selling car of all time. And now Volkswagen is the largest car manufacturer in the entire world. You could eat GM for lunch and still be hungry. It's not even, they're so big. Yeah. And it's because of the ad campaign they used to sell this little ugly 25 horsepower car. And it launched this brand into the stratosphere. And, so it resonated with people. And all of the biggest brands in the world have the same story. We were struggling. We weren't making it. It was going bad for us. Our stock price was plummeting. We couldn't pay our bills. Wham, wham, wham. And then all of a sudden, the ad change of their life happened, whether they found it intelligently or maybe just got lucky. But whatever happened, happened. And all of a sudden, the brand is going straight up. And it's catapulting itself into the stratosphere. Now, those are the ads we studied over the last 100 years. We don't care about all the ads that failed. They're no good. Just because it's a big brand doesn't mean all their ads are great. Okay. Yeah. So we studied the brands that went from zero to superhero and said, that's the formula. What's in that thing right there? Examine that. That's what somebody wants. That's what some people want us to show them, because if it worked for them back then, and it's been done 100 times since, it'll work for you now, because humans haven't changed since then. They still like happy things. They still trust brands that have authority. They're still tempted by the same things that tempted us 1,000 years ago, right? So just do what has always worked. And that's what the big brands know that the little guys don't. The little guys think, I'm small, so I can't do it. And I couldn't possibly do the same things that those big brands are doing. You sure can. You can do anything. Words are free, okay? Yeah. Formulas. There's no royalty on formulas. There's no royalty on colors. There's no formula. There's no royalty on emotions. You could copy the big brands, and that's kind of what we've done, is say, look, here it is. Now, you just don't spend $10 million on it, of course. You spend $500 on it. You're a small guy, but it doesn't matter. The ratio is the same. If it works on humans in a big way, it'll work on humans in a small way. So just do what works. Spend what you can. And as you grow, spend a little more and spend a little more. All the big brands did it. They did not, once they found a formula, they invested in it. But don't invest until you find your formula. Then when you find it's working and it's churning, and every dollar comes back dressed up like $2, now pile the money on, because it's a money machine. The secret is to get the formula. That's where everybody breaks down. Once you know the formulas, as you know, Charity, it's easy. Once you got the formulas, like having the answers to the test. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, it's freed up a lot of my time with having to really dig deep for certain images and icons and words. I mean, it gives you everything. It's combining innovation and understanding the human emotion. It's just awesome. I don't know. I can't even think of one thing that one reason why there would be to not buy this amazing tool. So take it from the pros, guys. Check out ADMANITY.com. And Brian, I know you're I just love your voice and your inspiration to everybody. I want you to give our guests, lead out with something inspirational. I know you've got tons of years of experience, and I know there's something that you could tell our listeners, our entrepreneurs, our thought leaders that may be struggling with their business and their marketing. What words of advice could you give them?
I could give a seminar on this. I probably should someday, right?
Yes.
There's so many, I'll say this, folks, the answers, whatever you're seeking, will be simple. They will not be found in complicated solutions. No great ad has ever been complicated. Nothing persuasive is complicated. Nothing complicated is persuasive. So think simply. And if I can give everybody some advice, we're all going to sit down and sooner or later, we're going to write an ad. We're going to script out something. It's going to be an email. It's going to be an ad. It's going to be a social media post. It's going to be a funnel. It's going to be something that we want everybody to buy. And think in terms of them. Whoever your audience is, let's call them them. The thems. We want them to buy. Now, whatever you want out of this transaction has to take a far distant second place. Yeah, I know we want to make money. Yes, we want to sell the new model. Yes, we want to upsell and all the things we want to do. But try to think like a caveman. Imagine them were the very, I don't want to say unintelligent, but simple-minded. They always respond to the simplest of triggers. Think, what do they want? Make a list. If they could have their fantasy from my company, what would they want? And write down all of those crazy things that they would want. Well, they would want it for free, and they would want a guarantee, and they would want a selection with more colors, and they would want, all these things, right? And you may or may not be able to do this, but you should be aware of what they want, because what they want, I guarantee you, does not line up with what you want. But if you want to make money, you're going to have to be closer to what they want, because that's when they will buy. When they feel, remember we talked about feeling, when they feel like buying will be when they feel like they're getting what they want. You cannot educate someone into buying your brand. You cannot rationally convince them of anything. If you've ever been in an argument with your spouse, the one who won was not the rational one, right? We try to have and then they're irrational and they're going off the handle, and you're just sitting there saying, well, now, wait a minute, this isn't what I had planned for today. Guess what? The irrational argument is going to speak the loudest. It is the emotional side of us that always wins. So fantasize for a second. What would your people want? Write down their ridiculous ransom note that they would write to you, and then say, okay, how many of these could I actually do? Because if I could do 2 or 3 of these and just focus on that, I might sell a lot more product. But if I keep focusing on what I want out of this deal and my price and my features and benefits, which we all do this, I've done it, and we all do it, then you're not going to get nearly as many sales. And what the big brands know is there are a few emotions that just trigger people to buy. As much as we love our products and fall in love with ourselves, just go back to the primal basics and do what all the big brands have done. We can brag later when we're on stage getting our award for Entrepreneur of the Year. For right now, just do the basics and get your AdManity report. Go to admanity.com/now answer group. Get your free report. That'll get you extra bonuses and goodies. And then you can decide if you want to get your full report for your brand and take the online test. Takes 5 minutes, by the way, to take the test. We don't ask any invasive questions. We don't ask any financials. We don't even ask what type of business you're in. The test is completely blind. We don't know that you're a plumber while you're taking the test, but what we will tell you are the emotions that it will take if you want to sell plumbing, because the test will figure that out. It's cool to watch. And then towards the end of the test, it starts to ask you questions and you realize, oh no, this thing has really figured me out. And that's good, because we want you to have all of the emotional answers that sell your thing. We don't even ask you what your thing is. So it's a pretty cool thing to go through, as you know, Charity. And I wish every business in America could get their AdManity report, because we would change that 80% failure rate that everybody complains about, especially after COVID. I don't even want to know what the number is, but there's no reason 80% of businesses should fail. If everybody had an AdManity report, and I'm kind of being braggy by saying that, 80% wouldn't, because that means that 100% of the businesses would have the right formulas to sell their brand. And I'd love to see what the number is after that. I think it'd be a lot lower.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially in this economy, folks, like it really is very challenging. You need to get this tool because it really will be the greatest marketing opportunity that you've probably ever had in 100 years. So do yourself a favor and get the free report and just read it. And it's going to lead you right into getting the ADMANITY tool, the algorithm that will literally change your marketing departments, or if you're a CEO, chief everything officer, and you're doing your own admin and campaigns, this is going to eliminate a lot of guesswork. So I am so happy you are all here listening to Brian and I chat about this awesome opportunity. And Brian, I thank you again for coming on the show and sharing your knowledge with all of us. It was great to have you.
It's great to be here, Charity. Good luck to you and all the great work that you're doing as well. So we'll see you.
Thank you. We will be in touch.
Yes, we will.
Awesome. Cool, folks. ADMANITY.com/NowAnswerGroup. Ciao.